welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're live on iRacing for the final round of the Pagnian Imports GT3 Championship, and to take us out for the series we're at Circuit of the Americas GP. We'll take a look at the session. Tonight we've got our 10 minutes of practice, 10 minutes of qualifying and 40-minute race. Weather conditions are clear and all cars are capped at 47% fuel, so we're going to need to see them take a stop for fuel to get the car back home. Our standings coming into the final round, we have Blake Urquhart leading the championship with 492 points. Not far behind is Robbie Bradbury on 461, and it's even close then between Stephen Banks and Cameron Veacock, only 1 point separating them. Last week at Silverstone Circuit, we saw Robbie Bradbury take the win after qualifying fourth, and we had Blake Urquhart take the fastest lap bonus points. So I'll load up over into the session now. So we are in the USA for Circuit of the Americas. Track length is 5.41 kilometers, and we have a fair few drivers already loading up. So we'll jump over onto the track now. And if you're joining us to the stream, jump into the chat, say hello. Don't be shy, and it is good to be back live with iRacing after the technical issues we had last week, not being able to actually get in and stream live, so we did have to record and upload it later. It's nice to have an actual audience to talk to rather than just myself. And talking to the drivers, they have been having issues with the track limits. Circuit of the Americas is very strict on those track limits, with the drivers having 17 incidents before requiring a drive-through. Could potentially cost them some drive-throughs. So we got 3 minutes left of practice. We'll make our way through which drivers are loaded up. So we have Robbie Bradbury and Michael Quain. Oh, and almost going door to door with Cam. I'm not sure if Cam's playing with him there. Get some. Oh, there we go. It's not the angle I was looking for. We get some very high up shots of Circuit of the Americas. So the guys are going door to door. It's going to be some great views with these cameras. And we have Corey Brand there in the Ferrari. He's just parking car up. Russell Gandy in the Mercedes. Philip Buckland in the McLaren. Daniel Games in the Porsche. And Steve Banks in the Ford GT. Lucas Burt in the Ferrari. So we do have 12 drivers at the moment. And we have Ben Rowe in the Ferrari as well. Blake Urquhart looking to have a strong round tonight. He's looking to take that championship win. With 120 points on the line for a win tonight. Those 10 points up for grabs for the fastest lap of the race. And 25 points up for grabs for taking pole position. 155 points potentially on the line. We do not have this championship decided yet. We're getting times through. Fastest time on the board is Cameron Veacock, setting a 2:05.266. practice session that the guys were in earlier. I think they're getting it down to around the 2:03s. There's 30 seconds left of practice, then we go over into the final qualifying for the series. And don't forget, as you join us to the stream, hit that follow button. Helps us out with growing towards that 250 follower mark. And that way you do get notified when we go live. So we're here on Monday nights for iRacing, plus Thursdays we have Project Cars too. And we've got the final round for the GT3 challenge for Project Cars 2 this week. And then that's also at Circuit of the Americas. So both our GT3 series wrapping up at Coda. Our practice now complete. The drivers have got 10 minutes to get their qualifying time in. Eckhart and Veacock scrambling out of the pits. Looks like Buckland, oh that's not Buckland, it must be Nathan Peters following in behind. He will jump on board for a lap around Circuit of the Americas in a moment. Daniel Games in the Porsche. With these strict track limits, they're going to be probably struggling to try and get a timed lap in if they're not too cautious. So they don't want to go invalidating that lap. So with just over 2 minutes a lap, it's going to be quite costly to have to go around for another run, and especially if they make a mistake and end up having to bring that car back down into the pits. It's going to be wasting precious time away for the qualifying. Just out all drivers out on track. I'm just waiting for Ben Ray and Gary Buckland to load in. Urquhart's just brought the car back into the pit lane. So we're going to jump on board. Cameron Veacock is just starting into turn 1. Screaming through in that Porsche. The Porsche not too stable with these sudden turns left and right onto those curbs. Mid-engine cars probably going to perform a little bit better at Coda. Another hairpin. That sausage curb throwing the stability off. Must have just cost him. He's going to bring that car back in. Unfortunately, we forgot someone else that's close. Now on board with Lucas Burt. I think this is not far from where we left off. Where we had Veacock pull over there. Stay out nice and wide for all this sharp left-hander. track is rather off camber on a lot of sections. Get very flat. Oh, he's locked up in the slide. He hasn't taken any damage. Gets it out of the way. Should be able to continue through. He's got a fair few corners to go. Wrap up the lap. This lap was not going to count too well. He should be set to be able to go for the next lap. So we've left the most difficult of them for the final. See that extra sausage curb. Careful not to run out too wide on that exit or you're going to get stung. That's going to throw that lap for you. So that off track did invalidate the time for Bert. The current pole holder is Daniel Gomes. He's done a 2:04.9. As mentioned, with those track limits, it could just very well come down to whoever can just squeeze in a tidy lap without getting stung by the track limits. Track temperature is currently 25 degrees. Robbie Bradbury's qualified in second place. He's sitting on a 2:06.2. A couple more times, just squeezing in. Car gets a time on the board. He's done a 2:04.962. He's less than 0.010 away from Gomes's pole time. He's only going to have maybe another lap in it. There's only 3 minutes remaining. Banks has come through in third. 2:06.194. That Ford's been holding off amazingly well in the series. He's run into a bit of bad luck, but he's managed to tame quite a handful of the car. Russell Gander in fifth position. Peter's just gone off wide. Philip Buckland's qualifying 8th. Corey Brand currently in pit lane. He has done a 2:14, so it's got him into 9th position. And that pole's been taken. Veacock's just come through with a 2:03.9. Just about a second ahead of Gomes's time. There's 2 minutes left. Michael Quain is qualifying in 12th. Looks like a time has registered for him, but it must have been invalidated. So he's gone around with a 2:08, but must have not counted that lap. Buckland tucking in behind him. Phil Runs it slightly wide, so there's only 50 seconds left now. I don't think there's going to be enough time to be able to get one more extra lap in. By the time they cross the control line, they'll be lucky to probably get half to 3/4 of a lap before the session finalises. Robbie Bradbury improves his time. That was a 2:04.931. Banks has qualified 5th. He's in pit lane, so that'll be him done and dusted for qualifying. Peacock's holding pole position. There we are finishing. He crosses the line, so that'll be done and dusted for his qualifying. He still holds that pole. So the last chance for Blake to try and steal pole position away. Oh, a little bit slippery in the tail. And he comes onto pit straight. It's qualified into 3rd position. On his run, tad wide, that's going to cost him for the lap. And that'll be it for the session, so we'll check out the qualifying results. So we have Cameron Veacock with the pole position setting a 2:03.910. Then the rest of the grid we have is Blake Urquhart, Daniel Gomes, Robbie Bradbury, Stephen Banks, Michael Quain, Russell Gander, Nathan Peters, Philip Buckland, Corey Brand, Ben Rowe, Lucas Burt and Gary Buckland. I will have to just go over as the drivers are just using up the last of the session's time. Only trialling out some final setups. And then having a bit of a play down pit straight. Gary up in the pits. Michael Quain finishing up. And the session will cross over once all drivers have hit ready. Once that timer has counted down, and then we'll be set to go to see the lights go green for the last time in the GT3 Championship. And Gary not readying the car up. I'll get some aerial shots here. There we are. Session finished up now. Get a good view for the start of the race. Yeah, that should be nice from there. So a minute left for the drivers to ready up. He's waiting on 2 drivers. That's Veacock and Buckland. Blinking out a couple of times. Just waiting on our pole car to ready up. There they are. Lights to go green for the final round of the GT3 Championship.
Green flag, green flag.
They're away. A little bit of a delayed start by most. I think that's Robbie Bradbury's Ferrari bogged down a little bit, so Banks has managed to get up and around. Urquhart's ran very wide through turn 1. So Games is up into position 2. Veacock's pulling away, so we've got 2 Porsches leading the charge. With those cold tyres for the opening lap, it's going to be a little bit sketchy out there. The temperature out on the track hasn't really changed much. There may have been a little bit of touch between Peters and Buckland. Ooh, a bit of a tap. That hairpin catching him off guard. And they've got cars handled incredibly different through those tight corners. Veacock's got 1.1 second lead already. Can Games be able to close in on him? Urquhart's trying to make up for some lost ground after going wide through turn 1. Still pretty tight down towards the back end. Front driver's starting to space out a little. Nathan Peters goes up a position. Corey Brands dropped back. Lap 1 now done. We're just a gauge for the lap time. That was a 2:04.2 that was done by Cameron Veacock. So that is a very quick opening lap. See, the tail of the Porsche is really wanting to continue through the corner. Doesn't like turning back the opposite direction. Really unsettles the car. I think Gomes has gone off track. There may have been some contact. The tail a little unsettled still. Philip Buckland's just had the toe, not sure what's going on. Whether that was contact. Oh, it was a tap. It looked like Peters may have just tapped his tail. That's just cost him a toe. Going to be frustrated with that one. And with Games now having dropped back down to the 6th position, Urquhart's up into P2. As you join us for the stream, do jump in the chat. Let us know who you think's going to take the win and who's going to become the series champion. It's tight on that championship standings between Urquhart and Bradbury. Veacock really starting to pull away now. He's got 3.4 second lead over position 2. That's only just from the first 2 laps. And Bert's just gone for a spin. Oh, and he scraped the wall as he recovers back onto track. I don't think there was any other cars around as it got him. May have just been a slip through the corner. Games looking to make up some positions. Got away to a good start, tucked up into 2nd position. Only a drop down in the 6th. And he's looking to try and take on Quain. I think he's going to commit to a pass here. Just chucks in. Is there almost a switchback from Quain? And he manages to pull away fast enough. Veacock still pulling ahead. He's got 5 seconds over Urquhart now. And things are getting tight between Bradbury and Banks. Looks like drivers getting stung a fair bit from the track limits. My little incident detector is detecting a lot of off tracks. This could be rather interesting. Once the drivers get to 17 incident points, they're going to have to go for a drive through pit lane. So definitely could shake things up as to how the race is going to go. She could be sitting pretty comfortably midfield. And if some of the race leaders end up having to serve some drive-through penalties and you've managed to keep your incident count down, you could easily start to move up towards that front row. Quain starting to drop back a little from Gomes. Gomes blinking in and out a fair bit. We actually lost him for a moment. Hopefully no technical issues for him and to suffer a disconnect. He's not close to him at the moment while those blinks are happening. It's not going to be too much risk of a lag incident. Peacock now having led for 4 laps. He's got 6.7 second lead. Well, he's for Urquhart. He doesn't necessarily have to chase down Veacock for the race lead. He's got enough gap on him that his main goal is just to stay well ahead of Bradbury for the championship win. And Bradbury needs to find his way up towards that top spot and then finish well ahead of Urquhart. He's got Bakes to contend with first before he can take on Urquhart. That's KFC cars 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 3 in a row up towards that front end. And hear those deep purrs coming from the Mercedes. Phil Buckland currently a lap down after requiring that tow. So it looked like he got a little bit of a tap at the chicanes that put him off into a wall, requiring an instant tow. One Banks has just gone off for a spin. He was sitting pretty close with Bradbury. I'm not sure if there was any contact with the two. Maybe we'll go back and just see what happened for Banks. That car was a little unsettled under braking. You can see that rear grip end up being lost. But he managed to escape that with no damage. So seeing him drop down into 6th position. So that's going to help with Bradbury to chase down Urquhart now. So he's not too far ahead. He's only got about 4 seconds to catch up on him. And Bradbury had been able to tuck in behind Banks for a little while. So he's possibly been able to conserve tyres and fuel a little. Urquhart's got a huge gap between himself and our race leader, Cameron Veacock. Gomes moves back up into 3rd position and just makes the move on Bradbury. And Bradbury tuck in next to him. No, he's going to have another go at him. Veacock still flying ahead. He's led for the 6 laps. Now nearly pushing that gap out to 10 seconds. That's nearly 2 seconds a lap that he's gaining on the rest of the pack. Trying to close back in and move back up. Having dropped from 3rd position down into 6th. He's got a couple of seconds till he catches up to Michael Quain. Will Quain be able to fend off that Ford GT? Gomes not yet being able to pull away too far from Bradbury. The field started to space out pretty quickly. There's 25 minutes left, so 5 minutes till we reach the halfway point. We could start to see some drivers heading into the pits. They can get about 30 minutes worth of driving from their fuel. And those cars start to become rather light. And those tyres are going to be taking a thrashing out on the track as well. So if those tyres start to scrub down, things could get a little bit slow out there for some. And they're going to try and get through the race without changing tyres. That's going to add a fair bit to their pit stop. Oh, he's hit that sausage curb. That's cost him big time. That car launched. That's allowing Gomes and Bradbury to quickly close in now. I could have very well have even taken some damage. It was a solid hit to that curb. Oh, and Ben Rose just had to call in a tow as well. I think that was Centerland. There's Corey Brand. Oh, he's just exited out. Might even see what went on for Rowe before that spin. Bit of understeer and an early throttle. So he's must have been frustrated and brought that car in. We should come back live, I suppose. And back live with our race leader, Cameron Veacock. So on lap 8. And he's led for the entirety. He has a 14-second lead currently. Bradbury moves up into P3 as Gomes heads down into pit lane. Bradbury now needs to make up 4 seconds to catch up to Urquhart. A little bit sketchy there for Urquhart. Like he was experiencing a little bit of oversteer that he had to fight with. That car starts to be getting a little light. Maybe those tyres rub down. Or is he even dealing with some damage after that solid hit to the sausage curb? I did mention last stream that we'd be having some exciting news to announce as part of our partnership with Pagnian. If you do follow us on Facebook, we did put up a post that all our drivers, members, viewers, followers can actually get 5% discount while they shop at Pagnian Imports. So if you check out our post, you can actually just use the link. It'll take you over the website and it'll auto apply the discount. Otherwise, if you are on their store and want to add in the discount, all you got to do is just put in NLR-Apex-5 and that will apply a 5% discount to your order. So it's a good opportunity to be able to get some sim racing gear. Maybe you're looking at setting up a full cockpit and getting into sim racing, or just upgrading or throwing some additions to your current rig. So a big thank you to Pagnian for organising that for us. So as we're reaching the halfway point, we'll make our way through the current standings. So we do have in 13th is Ben Rowe, who has ended up retiring from the race after that spin. We then have Philip Buckland in 12th position. Brand in 11th position. Corey seeming to struggle with a little bit of understeer from the Ferrari at the moment. Those tyres, we're starting to get a little cooked. He has been in and pit. Then we have Lucas Burt in position 10. Stephen Banks in 9th. So he has dropped a few more positions from when we were last crossed over to him. But he has been in and pit. And it was a 37.1 second stop. So he's either taken on a fair bit extra fuel and maybe have even done a tyre change. And then have Gary Buckland in position 8. Nathan Peters in P7. Not far ahead is Russell Gander in P6. So to Full Throttle Racing Mercedes in tow. Daniel Gomes in P5. He was the first of the front-running cars to head into the pits. He made a very quick stop, only 11.2 second stop. So he's just splashed enough fuel to be able to get through. So if you can keep those tyres and get him to hold on for the remainder of the race, he could definitely be able to catch up a fair bit. He's only about a second away from Quain up ahead. He's about 25 seconds away from Robbie Bradbury up in P3. So by the time these drivers up ahead or pit, he could come out towards that front end. Michael Quain in P4. Robbie Bradbury in P3. He's 5 seconds away from the championship leader. Bradbury's goal here is to try and get well and truly up ahead from Blake Urquhart. You can see him just through the corner up ahead. Blake Urquhart in position 2. He's currently 18.3 seconds away from our race leader, and that is Cameron Veacock. It's on lap 11. He's led for the full 11 laps. Tore away at the start. There's been nothing stopping that Porsche. And Cameron even mentioning that he only just bought the track several hours before tonight's South when the guys were throwing up a practice session. So he hadn't done a whole many laps of practice. So doing very well for limited practice out there. Some lap cars now coming up to get around. I'm not sure if that's Lucas Burt's car, but from the looks of things, it is. Don't forget, don't be shy as you jump on the stream. are those sound effects controls down underneath the stream that you can play so you can cheer on the drivers as they go through. Gomes moves up ahead of Quain. Oh, a little bit slippery. He's got ample time to be able to turn the car around. No one coming for a little while. He's got about 30-second gap. Yeah, 34 seconds between himself and position 6. Quain hasn't pit. My car's going to be starting to get a little light. And those tyres potentially a tad warm. So even just the journey down pit lane and that brief stop can be enough just to drop those temperatures enough. Urquhart being in, grabbed his fuel. And he's only just come out ahead of Gomes. With the two now having made a stop, they should have enough fuel to get through. So they're going to be battling it out for position here. Bradbury's up into position 2. Feels holding back at all. This is where he now needs to put that foot down and put as much gap between himself and Urquhart as he can. If Urquhart can become occupied with Gomes and even lose the position to Gomes, that can definitely help Bradbury with looking to take that championship win. Things are going to be very tight to see how these standings wrap up. Oh, he hits that curb. He's definitely starting to feel a little pressure from Gomes. Hanging from the back of Blake Urquhart's Ferrari. You can see Gomes hunting him down. He's definitely feeling some pressure. Now coming into the pits. Very quick stop for Veacock. Bradbury takes the lead. He's putting down some very solid lap times at the moment. So we did see Bradbury tucking in behind Banks for the first few laps. He was also tucking in behind Gomes. Could very well have been conserving a fair bit. Urquhart takes that curb again, a very tight line. I'm not sure if that counts as an incident at all for cutting up across the curb. It definitely unsettles the car a tad. Pits now for Bradbury. Veacock take that race lead back. Urquhart's still very heavily occupied by Gomes. Will Bradbury be able to get in and out in time? I don't think he's going to. You can see narrowly out at the same time, nearly door to door with Gomes. Almost look like a touch between the two. What timing was that? That is phenomenal. Yeah, a fair bit of rev limiter going on from that Porsche from the sounds of things. Those rotors red hot as he tries to pull that car. There's definitely a car. You can hear the bouncing going on. Not sure whose car that is. There was a little bit of blinking going on, so it could have very well been that. It's one of the Pagnian Ferraris that looked like had moved over to let the free cars through. Oh yeah, quickly these guys are bunching and there's 8 minutes left. So there's only 3 or 4 laps left in the race. So lap 15, Vcock had led for 14. Only to lose that race lead from pitting in. We saw Bradbury take over and lead for the whole lap. Only to narrowly come out right on the tail of Gomes. You can almost see Bradbury's just sitting back, waiting for Urquhart to feel a bit of pressure from Gomes. You probably might try and sneak through if an error is made. And a lap car coming up. It must be Lucas Burt's Ferrari. That is Lucas Burt. Oh, he's going for a spin. This could mess things up. He just gets off the line. It did hold up Bradbury a little. Gomes and Urquhart got through pretty quickly. That could have gone bad. Bradbury's lost a couple of seconds out of that. Doesn't want to let these guys get too far ahead on him. Down the nose, Gomes' Porsche. A lot of late braking from Gomes. Close that gap in. But Urquhart pulled away rather quickly. Chasing them down in the chopper. Just under 4 minutes to go now. Gomes really probing. Urquhart moved over to the inside line to block it. He's having to play defensive. Probably trying to close that gap in on the two. The race leader is Cameron Veacock. Coming up to some lap traffic. They are backing off to try and allow a path through for Veacock. That's Russell Gander. Veacock's got ample time to get through. He doesn't need to push too hard. Doesn't need to force him a potential incident in front of himself. He's got 26.7 seconds separating himself between first and second. Oh, it's a lot of slip from Urquhart. That's cost him a heap of pace. But kind of balked Gomes. He was stuck right on his tail with nowhere to go, so he had to back off. Bradbury's closing that gap in again. Banks and Quain added here. Well, it's going to be hard to try and pull that car up. Got a lot of speed to try and drop off. You can see the GT being a little wobbly on the front under the braking. Banks gets around Quain. He's now up in position 5. We're lap 18. Minute left on the clock. Should be enough time to see Veacock get across the control line. Then it will mean last lap. All this battle between Urquhart and Gomes continues. Gomes goes for an outside pass around the hairpin. It's going to be interesting. Can he pull it off? Causing him the run rather wide, but he's carried a heap of speed, so he's going to have another move here. And Bradbury's come out of nowhere amongst them. There's no room between the two. That turn in, nearly 3 wide. Bradbury's sneaking up around the outside. Can Bradbury get 2 passes here? And Vcock's crossed the line, so that's now a final lap. White flag shown. And what a battle between second to fourth. They're going to go all the way to the end here. Bradbury's going to get nearly boxed in. Look at the drifting all the way to that left side. Unless we're going to be rather interesting. Oh, Gomes is going for a very risky move. That's cost him a position. Bradbury sneaks on up. Referee snake through the chicanes. Gomes starting to lose a fair bit of pace. Oh, he cuts that corner. That's pushing those track limits. Shouldn't be too far from Vcock wrapping up the race. Vcock's got that foot flat now. Home within sight. Pleased with himself, weaving after crossing the control line. Congratulations to Cameron Vcock taking the win. Bradbury's just dropped back to Gomes. Things could be looking good for a championship win for Urquhart. They're already flashing the lights. He knows he's got P2 in the bag. Can Bradbury make a last second move? No, not enough. So we have Urquhart in position 2. Then on the podium is Daniel Gomes in P3. Bradbury crosses the line in 4th. It's a fantastic series seeing these guys battle it out in these GT3s. The Circuit of the Americas definitely challenged them tonight. Banks takes 5th position. So there'll be some celebratory burnouts going on down the end of pit straight. There's ample room for it. Queen takes 6. And then we've got the full throttle racing crew lining up for a photo shot here. Oh, we just had an engine die. I think that was Corey Brand's car. Maybe it was Vcock's car actually. I think he may have actually, yeah, definitely blown the gearbox from the sounds of it. And Urquhart doing a celebratory burnout as well. So fantastic. We'll check out those results now. So we have, after 20 laps around the Circuit of the Americas for the final round, the Pagnian Imports GT3 Championship, Cameron Vcock is our race winner. Then on the podium in position 2 is Blake Urquhart, and P3 is Daniel Gomes. And then the rest of the standings we have is Robbie Bradbury, Stephen Banks, Michael Quain, Nathan Peters, Russell Gander, Gary Buckland, Corey Brand, Lucas Burt, Philip Buckland, and Ben Rowe. Jump over into chat and see if we've got our drivers. Congratulations, Camp.
Thanks, JT.
Pretty good
It was,
race for barely any practice.
yeah, look, it started off. I thought the boys were going to catch me there, but then once I started to gap away after that, I was nearly tempted to slow down. I caught one of the golden death traps at one point, and I thought my car was done, but it held on and kept going.
Yeah, it seemed to do rather well. Did get a little bit slippery through the chicane areas. You could definitely see what you were mentioning before, just how much it just wants to keep turning once you shift that weight across, but it handled very well.
Yeah, definitely. On the downshift from fourth to third in that last left-right complex, it really wanted to try and either push on or just snap over steer. You had to be so careful with it. But I felt the car got better as the fuel got lighter and the grip came to me, and it actually felt really good after a while once I got used to it.
Yeah, and I definitely held on because it was a huge gap in the end, so 31.1 second lead over Blake.
Yeah, I think Blake was mentioning that he had a few problems with incidents, and I think everyone was climbing up there. I just having a look now. I got 13, and that was worry. I was getting worried there for a while, and I think a lot were pushing up higher. So, yeah, one of those tracks that you got to be careful with.
Yeah, definitely. But congratulations, solid drive.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Blake, for the race.
Yeah,
You too, mate.
congratulations, Blake. That should probably be enough to be able to get that championship win in the bag.
Yeah, cheers, JT. That was, yeah, off track's pretty bad already, so, I had to try keep off them off tracks, and that's why I thought I'd let Cameron go for it, because I didn't want to pay the price for it, and I only just finished with one incident to go, so.
Oh, very tight.
Yeah, so I knew I had to keep Robbie the hind, and yeah, that was a cracking battle. That was way intense, but yeah, great for them boys, and yeah, good fun.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight between you Gomes and Bradbury for those last laps. It was very tight, and it was at 0.8 separating the three of you. So
Yeah,
if you had got that drive through, it would have cost you the race for sure.
Yeah, well, that's why I tried to play my cards, but I thought if I let these two boys go, I'll probably be in a bit of trouble. But I had 3 times left with 2 laps to go. I was like, I might as well use the 3 to go, so as I did. So, but yeah, no, it was good race, and come back next season, and yeah, good for Cameron for winning this round, and Daniel coming third and all that, and that was good battle between us 3.
Yeah, that was great to watch, and good luck with coming into the Formula V's after the break. So it's going to be a great season.
No, it should be good. Can't wait.
Yeah, they're going to be a lot of fun, the Formula V's.
Yeah, definitely.
I've only driven a couple of times, and yeah, they're a handful.
They sure are, especially those open wheelers. It makes going door to door a lot harder, so going to be good to see how you go.
Yep, should be intense. Cheers, JT.
Congrats, guys. There we have Cameron Veacock, our winner for the final round, and Blake Urquhart in position 2. And we don't have Daniel Gomes in the chat, but he took P3, and then should be enough points to be able to get that championship win under the belt for Blake Urquhart. So do stay tuned on our results and standings through Facebook, so you can actually check out the fb.com/Apex Esports League. You don't need an account with them, so you can actually see how our results and standings have gone, and any incident report outcomes as well. And then, as we're mentioning, it is the Formula V Championships. We are actually having a couple of weeks break from broadcasting, so we'll be coming back on 27th of June, Monday night at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time for the opening round of the Pagnian Formula V Championship. And then we will be starting at Brands Hatch Circuit, then we go through to Lime Rock Park, Alton Park, Long Beach Street Circuit, and then finish up at Tsukuba Circuit. So it's going to be a great series, and there is some Pagnian vouchers to be won for the winner of that championship, so it's going to be great to see them battling it out to score themselves a $50 gift voucher from Pagnian. So a big thank you to our sponsors, Pagnian Advanced Simulation, for that. So we will be back in a couple of weeks, but we do have the final round of Project Cars this Thursday night, so if you haven't hit follow yet, do so you'll be notified when we go live for that final round. Otherwise, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some great racing again. Thanks for tuning in, and see you trackside next time.